Hello and welcome back to all our MediaTalk listeners. I am absolutely excited today because it's a bit of a special time. This is MediaTalk's first anniversary. And as crazy as that sounds, it has already been a year since we started this series. So I'd like to obviously thank all our listeners for your continued support and encouragement. And I have to say, I've been very lucky to welcome and interview many inspiring leaders from broadcasters to telco operators and agencies, sharing their views and insight and helping us to navigate this really fascinating and fast moving media universe. And today is no different. And I am absolutely thrilled to welcome Jan Vorndamm from PlutoTV. Jan, hello and welcome to the show.
Hello. Firstly, thanks for having me today. So I think it's a great opportunity to share something behind the scenes of Paramount and Pluto TV. So again, thanks. I'm really excited to be here as your guest.
Thank you very much. And thanks for joining. So I'm going to state a bit of the obvious, but today there are so many ways to access and watch content. But one of the newest ways that consumers are watching content is on free ad-supported streaming television, otherwise called FAST. And this has come a bit of a new buzzword, and I think it really emerged about 3 years ago or so. But and I think this is going to be a bit of the theme for today. But before we dive into the world of fast, Jan, can you just tell us a little bit more about you and give us a bit of an overview of Pluto TV and what is the sort of the definition of fast, what fast is?
Sure. So my name is Jan, and I run the international ad business at Pluto TV, or in other words, I help our company to grow outside the US, primarily in advertising and monetization affairs. And for those out there who are less familiar with our service, Pluto TV is the global leader in FAST, as you briefly mentioned. It stands for Free Ad-Supported Streaming TV. So we offer hundreds of curated channels in a live TV section, plus an on-demand library next to it. And the company founded in the US back in 2014 as the very first fast service worldwide, by the way. So we're one of the pioneers. And today, 8 years later, we are part of Paramount, formerly known as Viacom CBS, and we operate our platform in more than 30 countries around the globe. And that's in a nutshell about my role in Pluto TV, and I'm sure we're going to touch a few details in the next 20 minutes.
Absolutely, yes. Great. Thank you very much for that, Jan. So let's dive in. And really, a sort of earlier this year, so it was announced that Pluto TV, the sort of Paramount's fast service, was coming in Sweden through a partnership with Viafree, which was the ad-supported VOD service from the NENT Group. And as a result, Viafree would be phased out as a standalone service, but that was, and then Pluto was going to be the name there. How can you take us through what happened and the reasoning behind these partnerships in the Nordic?
Yeah, sure. So earlier this year, precisely in May, we launched Pluto throughout 3 Nordic countries. So not only Sweden, it's also about Denmark and Norway. And as you already mentioned, we collaborate with Viaplay, or formerly known as NENT, Nordic Entertainment Group. And for the first time, we launched in combination with a local AVOD service called Viafree. So that's how we added some local flavor to a global product and its infrastructure, so to Pluto TV, while slowly phasing out the legacy product Viafree. And as a result, and as of today, Pluto has entered the market. And locally, we can proudly call it Pluto TV empowered by Viafree, right? But in general, bringing a global player like Pluto TV into local dynamics is always challenging. And after analyzing the potential partners on those markets, it quickly became clear to us that the Viaplay group plus Pluto TV equals a perfect match, simply because we're able to leverage synergies down the entire product and video chain. So from content we share, over distribution pipelines we have, and also actual advertising sales at the end of the chain, right? So long story short about what has happened there, we launched Pluto Viaplay added their valuable local expertise, and together we created a new destination for free streaming, so for FAST. And of course, again, the Viaplay group represents Pluto TV to the market locally. I personally had the pleasure to attend our recent launches, so across Spain, France, Italy, and now recently, earlier this year, also Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. And it's always amazing to finally launch a product, but it's challenging at the same time. So, and you need to properly design your go-to-market strategy. And once you have a strong partner, as we found in the Nordics, it makes your life easier, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So, and in fact, so when the consumer watch, do they go through Viafree or they actually go to Pluto TV?
I mean, both ways are accessible. So ideally, at some point, everyone will consider Pluto TV as the primary destination. But even if you open up via free the legacy product, you will be redirected to Pluto. So that's how we structured our joint efforts over there.
Okay. So, and continuing on, this is of the ad experience from a content and ad experience, because obviously this is it's a ad supported service, and compares to AVOD and linear TV. How do you differentiate AVOD and fast in that sense?
That's a very good one because it's incredibly important to consider the differences and their nature. So to answer the general question, AVOD is on demand. So you actively pick something out of a library and start watching. While fast is a TV-like experience, or more precisely, an EPG guided lean back experience. So what makes us different to linear TV, in addition to that, even though it looks like TV, you will find curated content on Pluto. So thanks to our own programming experts, we are able to be very flexible. And it's not simply a mirror of the classic TV signal broadcasted on a digital platform, not at all. So we deliver a unique channel offering with professionally produced content. And what we carefully put in between those content pieces are dynamic ad pods. That's the point where we touch the ad experience. Or in less techy words, we are talking about an ad break or a sequence of ads served back to back, as we all learned in classic TV, right? So that's how we keep the user experience high up and do not disturb those users in the middle of a movie or a show. So while AVOD platforms usually operate with classic pre, mid, and post rolls, right? So what I'm sure you know that experience and this behavior from these classic web libraries and so on. And this is usually what you still find on pure AVOD platforms. So once you pick content, you usually see a few pre-rolls before a show starts. And I think this difference in our experience is a fundamental difference. And also in the way we produce or how we license and play out content. That's a huge difference to AVOD and linear TV. But taking a step back, I have to admit, from a viewer's perspective, it doesn't matter how we call all of that, right? So I won't ask my wife if she prefers fast, BVOD, AVOD, or SVOD tonight. So users want to relax, enjoy their favorite movie, show, and ideally without any barriers. But from a business perspective, it's different because even though some critique came up about countless acronyms, and now fast is also in some countries the new term in town, right? But I truly believe it's important to draw a clear line between different streaming products and their nature, especially in advertising.
Absolutely, completely agree. And so, how is the ad inventory sold? So is it direct or sort of programmatic? And sort of, what's your
The short answer is both. So dynamics are different country by country and the speed of adoption and also the programmatic adoption. But we want to open up Pluto TV inventory through direct and programmatic pipes. We have witnessed a shift towards programmatic executions more and more, but direct still matters. So again, it's simply both.
and you've got in terms of so that if you do a sort of direct sold, that is sold by so you have teams of commercial, or you rely as well with the teams from Via Free, or how does it work?
Yeah, so there's no general answer to that because we pursue a tailor-made ad sales strategy country by country currently. And as we discussed earlier, the Nordics partnership, for example, is the special one. And over there, Viaplay acts as the local representative. So the direct sold pipeline there is strong, right? Because we have a preferred partner on the market who can represent Pluto TV locally. While in other countries where we don't have that kind of special partnership, we are fairly flexible, right? So then we have both. And we can rely on third-party ad sales teams. We can leverage, at least where possible, also own resources. So long story short, it really depends country by country and whether or not we have such a partnership in place as with Viaplay in the Nordics.
While I would say sort of fast services are still in their sort of infancy, we've seen gigantic, sort of strong, really strong growth in Europe and in the US, in fact. And I just wanted to throw maybe a couple of stats here, but in the US, for instance, according to a recent research we've done, FAST has more than double over the last year, and I saw that 6 in 10 households who have a connected TV turn to this new service. And in Europe, according to a sort of a recent survey as well we've done with our sort of Free With Ad Sales House Audience Express, we interviewed marketers across 5 countries in Europe, and what came out is like a staggering 9 out of 10 marketers surveyed said that they're looking to increase spend in AVOD or FAST platform in the next year. So I just wanted to have your sort of views on this, and how do you explain this appetite for the service, and how do you see the trend evolving?
Well, I'm thinking about different reasons here. In general, buyers get what they are seeking for, right? So media quality, speaking about viewability, audibility, there is no clutter at all, no user-generated content, for example, on Pluto. So it's definitely a way to separate some noise from high quality signals. I used to call it that way. In addition, primarily on fast. So there are several studies delivering evidence that you get access to target groups you may not have had access before, or as a brand, you even lost them because viewing patterns changed. And inevitably, at some points, it will continue changing, right? So my feeling is that there is even more appetite from 23 onwards because by nature, fast services, but also AVOD platforms, of course, deliver something by design buyers are seeking for. The huge challenge in there is the clear evidence on a campaign level. But in general, we are talking about a fundamental change in viewing patterns. And I think fast can meet those new requirements firstly towards users, but also towards brands and advertisers.
Just one thing, as you mentioned, obviously you have presence in many of the European countries, and I just wondered about your sort of expansion plans in Europe or even beyond. Where are you on this?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we are in October 2022. I'm curious what I'm able to say maybe in October 2023. But just to give a bit of context here before I answer that question, we are currently live again in more than 30 countries. That means German-speaking countries: Germany, Switzerland, Austria, UK, France, Italy, Spain. We also touched the Nordics with Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. We're also live in Latin America in more than 17 countries. And now coming to your question, the next launch is right around the corner because we will start streaming in Canada on December 1st. And over there, we're following a similar approach to what we discussed earlier in the Nordics, right? So we are going to collaborate with Chorus Entertainment as a strong local partner over there in Canada. And yes, we will keep an eye on further EU countries as well. But I'm afraid I can't reveal more today. So just stay tuned. But there is definitely something on our radar for next year.
But it's quite interesting as well just to see that there's a strong collaboration between you and broadcasters and local broadcasters. So something quite fascinating here.
Yeah.
So what do you see as I would say probably the biggest inhibitor or the greatest opportunity for fast service moving forward?
Well, that's a good question because I think we have several inhibitors. But one of the biggest, I would say, is ongoing fragmentation, leading to operational headache, definitely. This is more the internal view, as well as the flood of inventory new players might bring into the market, right? So we have some huge players and, of course, good quality in there. But I'm sure also some poor players will enter the market, and in the end, we will see a flood of inventory around CTV and Fast and AVOD. And it's extremely important to educate the market properly about that and to, again, distinguish some noise from really high quality signals. Right. So I consider these two things as one of the biggest inhibitors, while at the same time, I consider way more opportunities because we're seeing clear evidence about that fundamental change in the industry and eyeballs shifting towards streaming services. And as a user, while exploring those new services, you'll realize especially Fast is easy accessible, right? Because it's entirely free. You can quickly check it out and watch your favorite movies or shows. And this is something where you don't have any hurdle or barrier to use those services, right? And I mean, again, we are in Q4 22 in October, and even though Fast isn't new to us at Pluto as an international platform, I think in Europe we're still early, and there are definitely exciting times ahead for the entire industry.
Yeah, I think it's from a consumer standpoint, it's true that this as you say, it's a very easy use. It's a bit of a plug and play really because it's often embedded in the TV as well. So it's easy
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jan, I can't believe we're already toward the end of our discussion. But I just, I tend to finish my podcast and ask a final question on a sort of a more personal level. So I just wanted to ask you something that I've been asking all my previous guests. But if you could share something that you deeply care about.
Yeah, sure. I mean, thanks for closing with an easy one, because
It's not
what
always
I
easy. It's quite interesting you say that. It's not always easy.
but what I deeply care about is my family and especially my little boy. Even though he's challenging my patience sometimes, but yeah, I think that's definitely the short and honest answer to that question.
Absolutely. Well, that's fair. How old is he? Sorry.
We're still counting months, so 16
Wow.
months.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Jan, thank you very much for sharing all this. It's been great. I think we understand a lot more about Fast and how that work and the sort of the how you going into the market and some of your offering and what and obviously the expansion. I think there's still a lot more to come as Fast becomes a lot more available and understood as well by consumers and obviously by the advertisers. So thank you very much for that.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And obviously, thank you for all our listeners. As always, it's been great. It's fantastic. We love getting all the comments, so keep them coming. To hear from someone in particular or would like us to touch upon a topic specifically, just give us a shout. But until next time, it's goodbye.
MediaTalks, the podcast that helps to better understand the world of media and video advertising.